Eagles going to the Super Bowl. They won NFC Championship. It's been a very positive momentum for the city that I feel like the city needed just in general. It don't really it's about the sport, but it's not about the sport for real for real. It's more about the camaraderie and the positive energy that it brings to the city. So salute, shout out to from the rip. I'm shouting out my favorite. Shout out to Saquon Barkley, man. He played an excellent game. He been carrying. I feel like he put the Eagles on his back, like AI put the Sixers on his back when he was here hooping. Shout out to Jalen Hurts too, because it takes a lot of leadership and a lot of composure to be in that quarterback position because you're leading and you're running your team or whatever, and it takes it's a lot of pressure that he has. So shout out to Jalen Hurts. Shout out to AJ Brown. Shout out to the whole Eagles organization, and shout out to the city, the energy that it brought to the city overnight. You feel what I'm saying? And this is everybody, all walks of life, all the people. You feel me? All together celebrating. And I feel like I just want to say with this, let's use this. This energy is important. It's momentous. Let's use this energy and let's keep this energy and let's keep the positive spirit all throughout the year, all throughout the entire year, and no matter what's going on, let's just keep this energy up because it's doing a lot for the youth or whatever. And I'm seeing the positive impact overnight. So shout out to the city, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles, and we had the Money Making Money podcast
You already
where you feel me. We don't just talk. We don't talk entertainment at all for real. For real, we break it down. We give you money. We give you analytics. We give you the
just
breakdown, the compound.
exactly, and just a great way of understanding the correlation between the news and your finances, right? Because
Right.
we got to understand both, and they all have something to play. But I wanted to make this video specifically in the first couple of minutes. I wanted to talk about the Super Bowl for investors, and
Right.
that's earnings week. And this week is extremely important. You see a lot of people talking about the FOMC meeting as well as the big earnings week, which is really the real highlight for investors. The investment Super Bowl of this quarter, or the championship, so to speak, is going to be on Wednesday night. So Wednesday night is going to be a killer. That's when you have Tesla, Meta, Microsoft all releasing their earnings. It's going to be and IBM. But it's just going to be a lot going on. SoFi released their earnings this morning. I believe they missed on an earnings report, but also there's been a lot of FUD in the marketplace because there is a new AI that came out that is reported to be 95% more cheaper to actually run than ChatGPT. So it is called DeepSeek. It got ranked number one in the App Store overnight. So
Right.
a lot of people were selling off. A lot of people were doing plays for QWEB, which is like the Chinese internet fund. That's up like 1 or 2%, but most of the market is down. Nvidia went down as low as from what I was checking, what 7? Let's see real quick. I think Nvidia is down 17%. Right, so this is all from this news, which is kind of crazy. It's a huge gap down, right? It was just at 151, right, on Friday. Highest that Friday, 151, is now at 118, right? So this is probably the company that's probably most affected by DeepSeek AI, but
Right.
there's also the more important picture, and just kind of trying to see things from a bigger picture. Um, and that's that it actually just became more energy efficient to run AI models. So NVIDIA, of course, gets hurt the most from this because NVIDIA keeps making all these new GPUs before the market can actually build the algorithms and the layers on top of these GPUs that make them efficient. Which means
Right.
like what's the point of upgrading your? There's no point in upgrading your laptop if you could just download a software that makes it more efficient, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
yeah, you could pay the extra money to grab more RAM, but you also could just do a software that allows you to maximize your RAM or partitions your RAM. So there's just different ways to go about looking at things. a lot of people were still comparing this to like being a long-term great sign for the economy because we were worried about energy efficiency. And this kind of like basically says we don't have to worry about that. Like as Nvidia draws down 17%, I'm pretty sure Meta is up. How much is Meta up? You know, I don't. It's the sad part is I don't even have Meta on my list because I just don't really care for the character of Mark Zuckerberg. But let's pull it up and take a look at it. It's going on the list now just to talk about it every day because Meta reached all-time highs today, right? While Nvidia dropped 17%. Now the reason why Meta reached all-time highs today is because Meta's AI algorithm, their version of ChatGPT, is open source and free. Now, what we have to understand is that China and this DeepSeek company, I'm gonna bring up the website for you. Do I already have it here? No, it's OpenAI. And this DeepSeek company it's open source, which means anyone can take the code, which means even though it's something great now, it doesn't mean it's going to be great forever. Like literally someone else can take the code. So since Meta also took that same approach and not privatizing their code for their AI, the market likes that. So the market didn't completely sell off. So it's not like the death to all AI, but now people have to understand how much money they're spending. And there's something called CapEx, which is capital expenditure. And this is a financial term you need to understand because this is the reason why NVIDIA is pulling back so much is because so many people were ready to spend more capital and create more expenditures to buy more GPUs, but now they're realizing they may not actually need to because this Chinese company was able to do better work with 95% less energy, with 95% less time spent training it, like 95% cheaper to train the algorithm. And they were able to do it with NVIDIA's older GPUs. And some people are saying they're like getting backdoor dares from Japan to have more GPUs. So we don't have like an actual solid number of like their books on all their expenses. And this is like the thing about China, right? That's the reason why people are just like, yeah, like it's still Chinese communist governed and ran. It's not telling you about major events and things of that nature. So we got to pay attention to that. Um, and it's earnings weeks. So it's just a little bit more volatile, right? It's just a lot more volatile. So we just have to realize that, you know, if you swing trade weekly contracts, you're asking yourself, I mean, you're asking to lose a trade during earnings week. Earnings week is just something you can't play with because, you know, you see this Black Swan event. Does it just so happen that, what's the chances DeepSeek AI releases its open source capabilities on inauguration day, well, on MLK Day, which happened to be the inauguration day, and then now they're releasing reports on how much is cheaper the week that we have our biggest earnings reports from our top like the largest companies, right? So they looking to play the market. So we got to kind of execute, but these are like blood in the market after several days of drawdown. This is like a 5-day drawdown for Tesla. Like, I'm not sure if you're going to get many more opportunities to get in on Tesla. The new thing now is just buying your contracts deeper in the money. So we had bought contracts on, when was it? We had bought contracts on Friday for TSSL that were $25, $24, but I bought a bunch of them, right? Now, my ones that are out the money are drawn down 50%. And this is the reason why the new strategy is no more out the money calls. So that's the one of the thing I wanted to tell people, like, you know, trading options can be very difficult because there's so many different ways you can trade them. But if you keep it to the basics and you look at it as just renting the shares and you just want like compounded leverage on your equity, then you want your contracts deeper in the money. So then that way it can pull back 10% and it still won't get rid of more than 50% of your contract, right? So you want the luxury of to be able to pull back 10%. But if you have the chips, you want to keep doubling down the more drawdown days that you see, right? Because we see when we back test Tesla, they will sell off before earnings more, like at a 6 to 7 to 10 ratio, than they will overestimate. So right now we have a lot of underestimating. Like they're pricing in Tesla before they even, like Tesla's at a price right now, I believe. When was the last time it was at this price level? All right, cool. So it was here in January 13th to 10th. The last day before that was like December 10th, right? So Tesla still hasn't seen levels since election, right? Which is which is incredible, right? Election, right before election day, it was at 253. Now it's at 394, right? So Tesla in its drawdown. What's the percentage of drawdown right now? I'm about to calculate it real quick. Let's see what our drawdown is. Our drawdown from recent high to low is, where are we at? We're at dang, it's not. Let me see it. Here it is. Yeah, we're at like a, looks like around an 18 to 20% drawdown right now, which on TSLL looks like a 40% drawdown, right? So this is the reason why TSLL is so much, this is the reason why I like owning equity of this, because I'm getting twice the leverage. Um,
Right.
but when you're dealing with TSLL, you have to remember to buy your contracts out at the very least a month, and you don't want to be holding them by day 10 happens. So we have a couple different risky plays. If you want a riskier play, you want to stay deep in the money, so you still don't lose more than 50%, right? So you want to be at around the 25 range and underneath for like safety. But right now it's trading at 25. So, if you really wanted to be ultra safe, you would go below 25, 24, 23, and you would be buying contracts at least a month or more out. So the less risk you want, right, also kind of means like when you're starting your account, this is what you want. Like your first 10 trades should be as least risk as possible, because you want to accumulate. Really, you want to accumulate till you get to a point where you have like a good year's worth of income before you start doing, my personal opinion, before you start like doing riskier plays. But you kind of have
Right.
to write that creed for yourself. Like, is it, will I do riskier plays when I get 6 months of income? When I do riskier plays when I get a year worth of income? Like, you have to write that out for yourself. And honestly, you should do it based on how much knowledge you learn. So if you spend a year studying the market, then I feel like you should take more riskier plays, because then
Right.
you'll just understand it better. You'll have a lot more capital at your disposal. It's just the way it works, right? Now, if you have a high risk tolerance, like, you know what I mean, if you already gambling, if you already spending your money there and there, then yeah, you can buy the contracts 2 weeks out, but don't ever do more than 2 weeks, and get rid of them as soon as you get like 20%, 30% profit. Like,
Right.
don't play around with them, and just buy them deep in the money, right? So that's kind of like my general thesis. BBAI is also a snack right now, but I'm just letting y'all know we grabbed February 21st contracts. We got $24 contracts. We grabbed $22. I mean, not $22. Um, 24, 25, 26, 27. So I have all the different contracts at different levels. I believe in Tesla. You know what I mean? Like, if you, when you get to, over my opinion, when you get to like that 3 to 6 months saved up, then you can start doing like, all right, cool. If you wanted to put 500 or 1,000 on this play for next week, because it's a 5 day drawdown, right?
Right.
So if you wanted to put 1% of your account into it for next week, cool. But you can only really do this when you reach the level to where you can actually put in a decent amount to make a position. So it's not smart to do this if you only have, if you're still in small account status, which is like anywhere from 1 to 10K. Mid account
Right.
status, this is a pretty decent move to do, but I still would do it 2 weeks out.
Right.
And then a big account status, 100K or more, you know what I mean? So if you got a 0.5%, you can still get a good position out of this, and make a great cash flow trade. Worst case scenario, you lose
Right.
50%. But so that's the strategy, right? So I know a lot of my homies are reaching out to me, and they want more like one-on-one stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
we got to understand that that's not what we have time for. So I need y'all to just like take the extra step, and get the education. So just go
Right.
through this. Also, I just wanted to talk about BBAI. BBAI is a snack right now. It's drawn down 11%, right? Third day of drawdown as well. It's in this buying window that I have marked and leveled. It came down and touched this Fibonacci level, um, and then it really looks like it hit the trend line, if we weren't counting this drawdown day of when it just completely broke the trend. So we got to pay attention. I wouldn't necessarily say, you're kind of getting in where I got in at on these contracts for February 21st. But I just wouldn't buy the $5 contracts. I did buy $5 contracts at first. They're drawn down 50%. So, it's just too much risk. Like,
Right.
that's a 100K account play. If you wanted to buy like $5 contracts out of the money, right?
Right.
Like, I understand that the company is evaluated at $7, but get rid of your risk. Let's get the risk off the table. Let's make cash
Right.
flow. Let's take care of bills. Let that stack up
Right.
for 3 to 6 months, and then you know then we can start doing more wilder plays. But you still just have to exit the trade so fast too, and then you have to deal with the volatility. So this is a great spot to get an entry position, right? It also can draw down to this level. I think worst case scenario, we can see it hit this $3 level, right? Because just because, right? Earnings is all the way in. Earnings is all the way in March, and there is we always have to count in negative news. Like this drawdown, just because I believe, you know, it has AI in the title, and people think AI. They're worried about what DeepSeek can do, but we have to understand DeepSeek is open source. That means people are going to take what they do. They were making a statement, and this is what people have to understand the chestnut checkers element of it. Like they were making a statement that okay, you want to get rid of TikTok, we'll give you something for free that actually is working better than something that you're paying 95% more for. That was the point. Like DeepSeek is free. It's not profitable. So why would you sell off the things that are necessary to make AI scale to a company that's not profitable and based out of China? It just doesn't make sense. Like it's just open source. It's a great time to buy the dip. This is when fear enters the market. It's just that the market also isn't that educated, right? So that's why you have to prepare for price action to come and meet the level. It won't always stay in trend. Now, mind you, this trend with Big Bear AI is significant. This trend that we created, this trend line goes all the way back to November 14th. It's been following this trend line. So like so many times, like one time, two time, three time, four time. This is the fifth time. So and so that's also that's like great news for the most part because it's not like some of the moves are going through the moon, but it's like a slow stair step up. But it looks like you can get a kind of like I mean, you just have a lot of price action sitting at this $3 level. So like you have to be prepared to sit through that $3 dip if it goes there. But we noticed the last time it went down there, it was only there for 3 to 4 days. So this is why you got to buy your contracts out at least I would say at least 4 times past a week. So you could give it time for if it does go here to get in. But I would say get an entry level in BBAI if you haven't entered BBAI. So get into entry level contracts. I have $3 contracts February 21st. I think you can even go even safer if you wanted to grab March contracts because the contracts are a lot cheaper on Big Bear AI. But to each his own. But these are my two plays. Like I'm only worried about Big Bear AI and TSLL. So I'm in Big Bear AI right now. I'm in $3 calls. I have a bunch of different calls for February 24th. I have $3, I have 350, I have $4, I have $5, right? But so just so you know, you're getting $3 calls at a snack. Like my average cost is 74 cents. It's trading at 78 cents right now. You know what I mean? And that contract already went up 120%, and I took profit on like not half the trade, but I took profit on like a third of the trade. So just so you know, it's a buy the dip day. Like that's all I can really say is it's a buy the dip day. I'm just a little bit stronger with TSLL because I believe that when there's like news that comes into the market before earnings that doesn't have a lot of real doesn't have heavy weight. It's kind of like what happened with quantum. Google was like, "Oh, here's the new quantum chip," and then all these quantum companies ran up. I think we're seeing the similar thing, where it's the reverse. So it's like, all right, cool. Here's something from a different country that can threaten us. Can't really threaten us. We have way more money. We're spending way more money, and and, and like it just can't threaten us because it's open source, man. Nothing that's open source can ever hurt a multi-billion-dollar company that has leverage. Like there's no way you can't really lose. So it's a beautiful buy the dip moment. Now, as far as Nvidia, when you're gonna see upside, just make sure you buy your contracts 1 month out if you have a 10K or more portfolio, and then if you're working with a small account, just make sure you get them like at least 2 months out, 1 or 2 months out. But I would say the deeper in the money you go, so if you're 1 month out, just go just go one more price deeper in the money. So if you got them for 20, 25, get them for 24. If you got them for 26, get them for 25. Like just go deeper in the money for that 1 month. But you have to learn this. You got to learn how deep you need to go in the money and what strike price you need to go based on your risk. right? So I'm giving you an example, but you have to learn this. This is something I feel like every investor has to know and understand because it's simple once you know it. Like everything becomes a little bit more easier to understand. All you got to do is stay updated on the news and make sure that you're getting like quality analysis on your news.
Right.
So yeah, so that was just like my little segment as far as like the Super Bowl for investors. Like I know everybody wants to celebrate the Super Bowl, but I also want to keep people focused on these accounts, right?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, is like you're not making millions a year. The people that are playing the Super Bowl are.
Right.
So, but if you play these markets, you can make the same as much money as the people that are playing the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
So that's why I'm trying to make sure our focus is at too. Like I understand Super Bowl is incredible, it's amazing. Go Eagles, go Philly, right? But we need to be making as much money as the people playing the Super Bowl. Like that's the
Facts.
moral. That's the
Facts.
moral of this. You know what I mean?
Or more.
You know what I mean? At least a bench player. At least a bench.
Right.
At least a
Right.
bench family. So I just want us to stay entertained in things that are other than just the Super Bowl. Like I'm not gonna lie, if you're spending hours preparing for the Super Bowl, watching the Super Bowl, but you go the whole year without watching an earnings report, you you you
That's
you
wild.
you you
That's a
you
wild
you
bastard.
being more
Yeah.
entertained.
Mm-hmm.
You falling into habits of a pawn. So
Right.
that's just pawn habits, right?
Right.
So just check to make sure that your levels equal. I'm not saying don't get entertained. I'm not saying have fun, but you're supposed to you still you got to work hard. They say work hard,
Right.
play hard, or you know what I mean. But you still got to have the first work hard part. And this is why I say
Right.
we got to work smart. Like we already
Right.
know who work hard. They on the field. Trust me, they was the
Right.
hardest working teenagers of all time. Trust me, they deserve to get those millions because of their work ethic. So now we
Right.
got to think smart, and how that looks is being prepared for understanding these companies that bring in that have $1 trillion evaluations are talking about what they're about to do for the next year in the last quarter. This is
Right.
important, right? This is important. This is important. This is important. So just try to get entertained by it too. For real, for real. You got to see the game. It's all a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
they playing on that field, and then these other guys are playing in the boardroom and playing in an office. So like
Yep.
understand the game, understand the stats, understand the players, understand the executives, understand all the dynamics of the game. Remember, it's
Right.
still a game. Like you can have
Mm-hmm.
fun doing this. Like I'm having fun doing this. You should be having the
It's
same
fun.
as much fun.
It's fun to make money.
It really is. Trust me. Trust me. I'm about to lose my voice during this earnings call, bro. That's how hard I'm gonna be
Right.
like, Tesla, after
Right.
this, let's go.
Right.
Beat earnings by 5%, 10%, 20%. Let's go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so let's not forget about those numbers. I know we all, care about the touchdowns, interceptions, the players, but let's not forget about these people that are making trillions work too, right? Because
Right.
that's important. Like these motherfuckers making trillions work, hundreds of millions work, right? So
Right.
so let's just be entertained. Let's just be entertained for our wealth as well as our enjoyment and our fun.
Right.
Um,
Right.
cause really like I get it, like we have to understand that a lot of the whole Coliseum method of watching a game and watching all these people perform in a physical act is kind of like to distract people that they can enjoy something that the kings is watching, right? So they had
Right.
the kings in the boxes, and they had the millionaires or the wealthy in the boxes, and then the
Right.
average people was able to go and experience something that they could have. So it was a chance for them to disconnect and to create a life that was like the royalty, right? For that
Right.
little moment. But what you got to
Right.
understand is when we see the bigger picture, the Super Bowl of investors, if we start playing that, and we start
Mm-hmm.
seeing who the good athletes in that space, who are the playmakers in that space,
Right.
right? We can actually have a life like the people that own the stadiums. So like
Right.
that's the kind of point. We don't want to necessarily use the like we don't want to care more about the Eagles than we do our portfolio. Like point
Right.
blank period. So that's just kind of like, let's just stay focused. You see what I'm saying? Let's just
Yep.
stay focused. But we do love green, baby. We do love green.
Right. And we
No
do.
matter that's
We do.
universal.
We
That's
love it.
universal.
Yep. Yep. We love green.
We
Mm-hmm.
love the green. That's universal. And we like the Eagles, right? Because the Eagles are a
Mm-hmm.
real spiritual animal for me. I call this place in the mountains my eagle's nest because I like
Right.
taking the symbolism from the eagle. The eagle is something that, you know, you know, they do something very unique that no other mammal does, and they have like this midlife crisis where they can like choose to die, or they can go up to the top of the mountain by themselves. They can break their beak, they can tear up their claws, they can rip out all their feathers, and they can
Right.
restore themselves. They have this self transformation quality that you don't see in any other bird. So when you add
Right.
the self transformation quality of your life and being able to understand that you got to rip through old versions of yourself to get to that new version, and then when you apply the focus of an eagle, if you fly like an eagle, that means that you can fly miles high and still keep focus on one thing, right? Your
Right.
precision. The
Yep.
eagle is the most precise bird in the sky. The
Right.
precision, right? So now that's why it's just like, let's take these characters on and off the field, and let's play them, and let's play them in life, and let's play them in the
Right.
game. So that's kind of
Right.
what's going on. That's my snippet on the markets in the other Super Bowl. Now we gotta talk about Trump, man. What is it? It's TA Day. What number? I think it's like a 20, what is it? What's today? What's today? The 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 7 days in. Are we 7 days in?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, we 7 days in. It's day seven. It's day seven. And man, my guy, you know, he getting that hardest working president in the world. Like you can say what you want. He working nonstop, man.
Yep.
He's working
Yep.
nonstop.
Yep.
Um, and then he's like he he's reminding us that there was an America where we didn't pay taxes, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna get the local in Colombia, right? I'm gonna get to that to the subject title, but the most important thing that came out of Trump's mouth over the last couple of days was the fact that he's naming a mountain over the previous president. I believe it's like Mount McKinley. I think it's President McKinley, because it was during the 1870s to 1913 where the U.S. didn't even have taxes. Nobody
Right.
paid taxes.
Right.
So he's trying to get rid of federal tax. This is the important stuff we need to worry about, because the
Right.
people that are using the taxes, family, they are creating the war. They are
Right.
sending the guns to Ukraine. They have been financing Syria on the dark
Right.
democratic front as far as like who's in charge of what organizations, right?
Right.
This when we really say we in a fork in the road for humanity, we are still in this fork in the road. Let's
Right.
let's be quite clear. People can
Right.
say whatever they want about a person. The fact of the matter is the person's intentions and how they move, what their actions and what they do and what they say, right? So
Yes.
so what Trump is saying is that he's trying to get rid of, he's using tariffs as a strategy to get rid of taxes, because back in the 70s and the 1930s, 1870s to 1913s, not 30s,
Mm-hmm.
1913s, we were actually getting tariffs, and the other countries that we were helping were
Yep.
paying us for helping them, to the point
Right.
where we did not have to use taxes. So taxes have been used for us to finance agendas that are not aligned with a lot of people's morals, right? And then they
Right.
were
Right.
talking about, man, they were talking about how the people that used to be Democrats are still have the same idealistics, but the governance within the Democratic Party are moving further to the left. They're doing like really sadistic, shady, Slytherin type, snake like, rat like energy, right? This is like kind of like the energy they started moving with, because they
Right.
started hiding things and they started using secrecy, and they started not telling people the truth, and they started to
Right.
make us feel like it was okay for the government to be interjecting with everything that's going on in other countries, and they would paint views and then they would tell people to shut up who went against their views. So they were just
Right.
doing a lot of grimy technology, and in the streets they were being like, what they call that? They grimy, right? That's that grimy shit.
Yeah,
It
they
sounded like they were just
grimy.
being
They
grimy,
grimy.
right?
Shiesty,
Shiesty, yeah,
grimy.
yeah, shiesty.
Yeah, that shiesty. Yeah.
Yeah, they was acting a little shiesty, right? So now you got Tosi Goldbar um, coming out with a book for the love of country, how she went from Democrat to Republican. But you have
Right.
all these people who went from Democrat to Republican. Even if you talk about J.D. Vance, you talk about Tosi Goldbar, you got to talk about Kennedy, and then I was reading an interview with Jillian Michaels, who was deep in Hollywood and left and went to Florida. So she was deep in the Malibu and the rat hole. And then she was like, nobody's waking up. She was like, COVID happened. And, COVID was a lot of things, because that taught us about like police brutality, but also what
Right.
was going on was the sex trafficking. And it was
Mm-hmm.
almost as if like they were covering up for the sex trafficking for real, for real. If we really want to start looking at it, it almost seemed like they're covering up for the trafficking, as well as using the war to make money on both ends. Especially when you look at all the CEOs leaving, like you gotta, like we gotta play Clue,
Right.
right? Like we not stupid. You could tell if somebody put their hands and somebody got their hands tucked and they see you and they got a big jacket on and they slow up and then they do a double take left and right and then look at you and speed up they walk, you know what's going to happen. Like, I'm sorry,
Right.
you know what's
Right.
going to happen. Like, you have to be
Right.
prepared. So we seeing
Right.
all these things, and she just kind of like wanted to highlight how, man, it's starting to sound smart. People that used to be blue, and even Trump started as a Democrat, right? So that's the crazy part. It's like, let's make it like so. It's a lot of grace coming. There's a lot of blue turning into red, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, all of this color shit and this like fighting shit is stupid. It's all stupid. Like it's
It
about
is.
it's about human civilization and understanding the market.
Yeah.
So like that's like the bigger picture. But I just kind of
Yeah.
want people to understand like what peace through strength kind of means, and that's kind of like been like the new terminology is peace through strength, and that's kind of I feel like something that a lot of there's certain religious teachings that teach that. So I appreciate that. It's kind of like do for self. It's really the do for self movement in a certain way. There's similar characteristics in peace through strength versus do for self, which means I own all my resources. I can take care of myself. I don't need to rely on you. So if you're doing something that interferes with my land or my culture or my viewpoint, I don't need you. I have it here for
Right.
myself. I don't need to
Right.
rely on you for this. So there's a lot of like this new energy that's kind of surfacing out of the like blues that became independent and then voted Republican. So they're still independent. There's a lot of blues that became independent but voted Republican. So they're not really red, they're like purple. You know what I mean? Which is a better color anyway, right? And that's what I'm thinking. We like that's what it means to kind of be independent. It's to be purple. It's to be a combination of both. It's to be able to take strengths from both things. We got to understand this how colors work. We're all in the same spectrum, and we can merge and see things. If we can learn to see both sides, we can elevate our frequency. Purple is the highest frequency color, right? So when you look at the science and the metaphysics even behind the color purple, it's showing you that you're looking at things from the highest view, right? And
Right.
that's that ego mentality we're talking about, right? It's looking at things from the highest view, right? From a godlike view, right? It's like
Right.
above it all. You have to see
Right.
above it all. So you know, it's funny because there's still like a lot of ego in the house. So we just got to play chess around the ego in the house, right? Because
Yeah.
that's why we were talking about Loco in Colombia, and I wanted to tell Lid this story, get his live reaction, right? So we filled up some planes with illegals that were criminals. Um, Tried to send them back to Colombia. The president of Colombia was like, "No, you're not bringing these illegals back." Trump
Right.
was like, "All right, cool, 25% tariff. If we still got to talk about this by next week, 50% tariff." Now,
Right.
understand how much of a chess move this is.
Mhm.
We only rely on exporting less than 1% to Colombia. Colombia relies on exporting to us for 30% of their GDP, 29%.
Right.
We less than 1%, they need us 29%.
Right.
Right? So like, it's funny seeing some you have like some like you have some people that are just like clinging to Democrat just because they like grew up to it. Like they don't want to
Right.
like critically think and say like try to change their mind or try to realize that like no, I actually am causing destruction. They like these are like the people that want to kind of call everything fake and misinformation. They never want to say, all right, cool, this could be true along with this could be true, right? Because there's a difference between saying something is fake and this could be true. It's completely different because you're
Right.
preparing for that reality. And honestly, nothing is fake if it's happening in reality. First of all, so
Exactly.
that's just like tongue twisting you to make you confused. It's really confusing you because if you're gonna call if you're gonna call an angel fake, then it looks to me like you don't really understand what truth is, right? So
Right.
so you have to understand when these words are Like the throwing the whole fake thing around. Nothing in this world is fake. Something is happening for someone's reason and someone's intention. You have to critically think out what are the different scenarios in which it could be someone's intention. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? It's not just gonna be like, checkers, 1 plus 1, hop, got your piece, got it, punt, hunt, got your piece, got it. No, it's not that simple, family. There's positions on the board, family.
Right.
There's
Right.
opening moves. There's a mid game. There's an end game,
Right.
family. Like
Right.
there's Scandinavian defense, bro. There's an Indian. There's a French Indian defense, bro. There's a Russian opening, bro. There like think this is really chess. Like chess
Right.
names their strategies of how you execute the game based on how countries would manage war. This is really chess, family.
Right.
Like it don't get no clearer than that. So just just kind of understand that's the game that we playing for real, for real. But so the Colombian president was like, no, he was like, I'm a race terrorist. Then he was like, yeah, I was in the plane, right? And then he was like,
Yeah.
and then they started going ham on Twitter. Like that's when they started the whole FAFO. Have you been hearing about this acronym? JD
Yeah. Yep.
Vance. They
Yep.
Trump retweeted this photo. Oh man, let me find this photo is hilarious. Trump retweeted this photo that basically had him with the mafia hat on, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it was just like on the side of it, it was just like FAFO. So for anybody who don't know what FAFO, can you tell them what FAFO means, Lit?
FAFO. I've been saying it. You break it. I think you would give a better.
Bro, they funny, bro. Bro,
Yeah.
bro, it mean fuck around and find out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I look. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to say
Yeah,
it.
bro, it's
Yeah.
gangster,
Yeah.
bro. It's gay.
Yeah. It's super gangster.
It's like an acronym, so it's like LOL, so it's like meant to be funny, but it's really just like it really was like real gangster, right? Right, but it
Right.
is a
It's
lot of
really
ego.
fuck around and
It,
find out.
it was
Yeah.
really a lot of bravado, right? Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of bravado. Like what you mean, fuck around, find out is they illegals. Like he obviously was trying to play hardball, but come to find out after that, he's seen that, and then now he's like, no, you know what? I changed my mind. So
Right.
now this Colombian president changed his mind again. And then Trump was like, "Oh, for real? All right, cool. We blocking visas. We stopping. I think it was like 4 different. Let me pull it up so we can find out exactly what happened. Cause he went ham.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah. It's fucking around and find out energy this week, family. Fuck around and find out energy for sure, man. Let me see what he said. So it looks like yeah, so he basically was just saying that, yeah, I'm not letting nobody in and nobody in. Nobody's getting visas. No one's getting in and out. Like you're not gonna profit off America. Um and I think they just released, man. We got to double check this because I'm pretty sure they just released that the like once he gave these new requests to Colombia, he called right back and said we good. Like I'm pretty sure it's either a Colombian standoff right now on some Pablo shit on some Scarface shit. It's either just like a
Right.
standoff, like he's just holding the tower with his guns, even though he know he gonna lose, right?
Right.
He just holding out, or
Right.
or he already or Trump already hitting with the come on, just give me oh, I'm on the wrong. All right, cool. That's why I was doing that. I'm like, all right, let me pull it up on my phone. My computer acted too slow. I'm trying to think where's my premium analytics. How do you get to your liked in this joint? I haven't used X enough. It's analytics.
Go to your profile and
All right, cool. All right, I see it. I see it. Cool, cool, cool. Bet. Here it is. All right, cool. So, yeah, let's just get a live update because this is crazy. Let's see. All right, cool. So this is what he tried to do. He said, "All right, cool." So they went back and forth. It looks like twice, and
Right.
Trump basically won the deal, right? So after he came back to him and said no the first time, Trump said, "All right, I'm putting out not just 25% tariffs. I'm doing a travel ban with immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters." So he's like banning anyone who's in the Colombian government from coming to America. He's doing visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government. So anybody, friends, cousins, auntie, anybody a part of the shits, he like, all right, we stopping that. And then he said that we're enhancing customs and border protection inspections of all Colombian nationals and cargo on national security grounds. He basically said no more drugs coming in. he
Right.
basically hit him.
That's it.
He basically hit him. And said, "Oh, you think you're gonna say no to me because you the biggest thing because y'all the biggest thing in the drug market because y'all GDP really is in y'all black market, not in y'all not in y'all not in y'all coffee beans. You know what I mean? It's really in that other cocoa y'all selling." He's like,
Right.
all right, cool. We about to embargo all that. You think you about to get away with this? Yo, he hit him with the doozy, bro. People calling it the Trump haymaker. They say that he hit him with a haymaker, dropped him to the canvas after this. He said
Right.
also, I don't even know what this is, but it says IEEPA Treasury banking and financial sanctions to be fully imposed, which means they coming after anybody bread that's Colombian in America. They
Right.
that's all I hear. I'm not sure what that acronym mean, but you know how acronyms mean. It sounds like they coming to collect out your account.
Right. They need that.
They needs that now. Like how much you made? How much you made in this zip code? I needs
Right.
that. You not taking back your criminals? I needs that
Needs
now,
that.
pronto. Woo! This measure, and then he said these measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of the criminals they forced into the United States.
Mm. Mm. He's standing on it.
He's mm,
He said, "Fuck
yeah.
around and find
He
out."
said, he literally said that without saying that. Like, he literally
Right.
said that without saying that. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
He said, not just the terrorists, one, two, three, four. All right, now it's five things. You really said five things. For, ooh,
Right.
whoo. Use only one true social post to solve Colombian illegals deportations and slam socialist Colombian President Gustavo Petro. Deport them all. Yo, they got what? All right. Like, so they said this saying people saying that they caved in less than an hour. Masterclass. They calling it a masterclass on how to use tariffs. They said, yo, he went from crazy to masterclass. He went from crazy to inflation. He went from
Right.
crazy to inflationary to the American people to masterclass of
Master
how you do
class.
this joint with a post. Stop playing a
Right.
boy. Man, you gotta make it's the deals, man. It's the deals. Wow.
He been
Colombia
dealing
tried to
making
put his
deals
foot
for a
down.
long time. Mm-hmm.
Colombia thought the black market was stronger than the legal markets.
Mm. Mm-mm.
He tried to go at him with that Pablo Escobar attitude. He said, "Sit down." He said, "Say hello to my little friends." He said, "No, they getting deported too." I'm like,
Literally.
yo, he really hit him with that. He said, "I know where it hurts. Embargo those ships." He said, "I know where to hurt." He said, "I know how to make them hurt. Try me." He had it in a tuck too. He was like, "All right,
Yeah,
cool." He was like, "Look, if they not taking these things back, you know they not selling no more cocaine. You know they not."
right,
That's what he basically saying. Nobody don't want to tell y'all this in the news, right? But when you U.S. embargo some ships, bro, you had embargo some ships. Let's not acting like every rich white person don't got their nose in the toilet. These young niggas out here in college and
right,
at these parties. Let's not act like there was probably people on cocaine at the inauguration. I would bet
right.
bread on it. I'll throw away a
No,
stack. I would
for
throw.
sure.
I would put a stack up, bro. I
Right,
would put a stack
right,
up. Like that's how
right,
much. That's how much. You know, drugs are entering the country, and
right.
Trump got a no drugs policy, man. He lost his brother to that addictive side of us not regulating these drugs, man. I don't think he has no problem with stopping the drugs, and I think he eventually, I feel like that's what long term he wants to do. But you can't stop drugs and make people pay taxes. That's just out. Niggas not gonna care
Right,
nothing about. People want to hear about the tax situation, and there's just so many people addicted to drugs right now that it's just like,
right.
it's just gonna be really hard for America to really for me to see that light happening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now, like if Kennedy became president, I think that would be different, but
Hmm.
for right now, I think the drugs gonna stay in play, and that's why it seems like mm, Gustavo started walking in line. That's what it seemed like.
Right,
Seemed
right.
like it seemed like he was trying to act tough, and Trump just little boyed him for a second and told him to sit down. Uh,
Right.
Dang, bro, that's so funny. It's good business though. It's a great
Yeah.
business moves. Just genuinely great business moves, fam. It's a lot of great business moves,
Thanks.
man. So so it's funny, but it's about a dip day, family. That's what's kind of going on right now. I'm still doing a little bit more. I got to stay research. I got to do a lot of as much research as I can on this deep seek, right? But to be
Hmm.
honest, like it was a statement. It was a statement by China saying that, all right, cool, y'all want to ban TikTok? We gonna make something for free that's better than what y'all charging people for. And at the
Right.
end of the day, it's free to understand how we do it. So, like, that's just kind of where we at with it.
Yep.
But let's see. Yeah, so we coming up on our hour. You wanted to go off on anything, Lid?
Yeah, I just wanted to, like you said, you one thing that stuck out to me for sure today was you said stay focused or whatever, and I just wanted to go and probably close out in the rich and spirit segment with just staying focused. Like you said, it's the Super Bowl and all that. The Eagles won the championship, the NFC championship. That's great and all that. Yeah, the sports aspect of the whole thing, that's cool. But let's make sure we invest in we because we want the biggest bags. You feel what I'm saying? And
Facts.
to buy and purchase and own the team one day or whatever. So I just wanted to tell them, let's continue to stay in this victorious spirit, but at the same time, let's stay focused to the goal at hand. And every day, that's being the best person you could be, establishing the best version of yourself. And with guys like us on our journey, we want to capitalize and be as financial literate as possible, and we want to get that game out or whatever to the for sure first me the youth. Like I really want the youth to be tuning in and listening or whatever, because I feel like a lot of y'all at a young age, if y'all take off with this ilm with this beneficial knowledge, y'all will be, by the time y'all look up, if you young watching this, 16, 15, 17, 18, by the time you look up in 3 years, 3 or 4 years, you applying this stuff, you'll be a multi-millionaire within your peer group. So, and this for everybody, but me personally, I just always like to speak to the youth or whatever. But in closing, stay focused, keep this victorious spirit, always stay positive, and make sure y'all doing that research, man. Make sure y'all watching y'all money make money, y'all watching y'all money, and y'all investing in the right things, cause you never want to just get blinded by the entertainment, and that's when you become a pawn. So we kings out here, we kings and queens out here, and we always leveling up and moving how we want for real out here on this, if we calling this game chess. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's my spill.
Yeah, that's so true, Led. I think the a lot of things that require you to have a rich spirit um, al- help you build a character in order to become successful. I feel like for my young guys too, for my for my like little brother, some of the young people I got around me, you in your early 20s, man, you have to be. It's. I don't want to say you have to be. It's smarter to be frugal now. Like
Right,
the frugality aspect, you have to understand that the most important thing is the things that nobody can take from you. So
right,
your ability to learn, your ability to work hard, your ability to stay grateful and be positive.
right,
These are like the
right,
three spiritual things I need you to be working on, because you're not going to be able to keep the wealth when you get it if you don't have these things, or you'll
right,
have some wealth, but it'll be kind of toxic because you'll be working with people that are using you more than helping you, or you won't have your like true independence even though you have your wealth. You don't just want your wealth, you want your financial freedom, which means you don't want to have to rely on anyone or anything in order for you. I don't want to say anyone or anything, right? Because we're all in this system together. Investing in the stock market definitely means you're relying on an entity. You're relying on the thousands of employees that show up to work every day, right? So
right,
so there is like some symbiotic relationship, but you don't necessarily need to be exerting 80 hours of your week doing something. Really, you don't really need to spend more than 4 hours of your week doing something you don't want to do. So you have
right,
to be honest with yourself. If you're spending more than 4 hours of your week doing something that you don't want to do, you need to be more frugal. You need to
right.
you need to share apartments with people. You need to
Mm-hmm.
you need to work 2 jobs. You need to work 3 jobs. For all my young hustlers out there, like you gotta apply the same energy that you would apply to the streets if you wanted to be successful. If you willing to work 12 to 14 hour days in the streets and make sure you do what you got to do, and every client you hit up, you got to apply the same thing for work. Like I was telling my
Right,
homie the other day, I was like, there was a time in my life where I worked 3 jobs. I only slept on my breaks. You got to
right,
be willing to go that hard. And then I
right,
ate, and then I made sure I ate most of my food at home, and I wasn't spending recklessly on food, and I
yeah,
wasn't spending recklessly on clothes,
right.
right? So you have to be like frugal. Like 3 years of being frugal and teaching yourself investing will literally make sure you had a lifestyle for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
This a 3 to 5 year time period, really worst case scenario. But it's not
right,
that what people don't fail to understand, but it's 3 dedicated years being consistent, being frugal. It's not just a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. No, it's 3 to 5 years of being dedicated and learning and mastering the skill set and being
right,
frugal. You gotta be frugal for 3 to 5 years, for real.
right,
And not like, and people just gotta understand that part. When you're young, be frugal. Put your money into your future. You get this. You have to get the same high as buying nice clothes and getting compliments on your clothes as you do seeing your portfolio go up 20% every month,
yep,
30%
yep,
every month, 40% every month. You have to
yep,
become addicted with this feeling, right? Because once you
right,
get to a certain point where you have 7, 8 figures, you don't need to work anymore. You can do exactly what you came here to do. You are now financially free. We
right,
cannot forget the mission. I think we're getting caught
right,
up in all these things that are going on in these and we're getting caught up in segregating ourselves, that we're not understanding that we all need financial freedom. No
right,
matter no matter what a person's believes in, they
right,
need financial freedom. Like you
Right.
need freedom. Like you here as a
Right.
human, you need freedom. Animals have freedom but they don't rely on no monetary system. You need freedom to make sure that you can live,
Right.
and just be not a pawn, right? If you don't want to focus on your freedom, then you know. I mean, honestly, nobody's listening to this is not focused on their freedom. So let's just be where, like, let's
Right.
just keep those things in mind, like that we don't need a lot when we have our internal characteristics and we have a rich spirit. So
Right.
that's kind of like where we're gonna start leaving off on money making money. You know, we're gonna start giving you all the banger, a little bit of the culture, finance play, into the spirituality of what's going on in the market, or just going on what's going on in life. Because we like to say this is not financial advice, but this life advice. So
Right.
you know what I mean? Like this is real life advice.
Yeah.
It ain't financial advice, but it's real life advice. Because
Right.
you need to be able to prepare for your future. You need to understand
Yes.
what's going on and make sure that you put yourself in your family in a position where you good at 40. And we need to be
Right.
obsessed with this free, wealthy 40, 50-year-old lifestyle, not this young and got the bag lifestyle. Like that's
Right.
like change our focus. Our focus needs to be on 40, 50, rich, thriving. Not
Right.
young, rich,
Longevity.
yes,
The
longevity all day.
marathon, not the short race. The marathon.
Facts. So, I just want everybody to just remember that, especially if you're young, like you got to be frugal. You got to take some hits.
Yep.
You got to be not so caught up in the materials. You got to get more spiritual. You need a strong spiritual core. You need to feel
Right.
wealth inherently within you every time you breathe. And when you
Right.
get to that point, everything, I think manifests itself the way it's supposed to, no matter what you do, if you can get to
Right.
that point. But we just want to touch on that. And that's pretty much it. We appreciate y'all for tapping in for Money Making Money,
Appreciate it.
episode 9 and day 7
Yep.
of the Trump administration, man. Everybody get happy, get ready. It is the Super Bowl this week or this month, right? So when is the Super Bowl day, like the football Super Bowl?
It's the ninth.
It's the 9th of February?
Yeah, February 9th. Yep.
Well, that's going to be fun, fam. We might have to stream that.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta stream the Philly Super Bowl. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta do the live
Yeah.
commentary on the
Yeah.
Philly
Yeah.
Super
We
Bowl,
could
bro.
live stream. We could
We
definitely do that.
we got to, bro. Y'all know I'm gonna watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna watch a whole game for y'all, family. I'm gonna watch a whole
Right.
game. Let's get it.
Right. We
Yeah.
need B to watch a game. B always on the charts. You feel me? He watching them charts.
Oh
So
yeah, but
yeah, we gonna watch the game.
yeah, I'm gonna watch a full game for y'all. I got y'all. Give y'all the 5 minute, the play by play. It should be fun. I'll be watching the charts too, though, at the same time. So
Right.
that's why you got multiple screens, baby. Yeah,
Right.
So yeah. We're gonna have some fun. But I appreciate you for tapping in, King.
I
I know we in
appreciate
our
you too.
plays. I know we got our plays a little early. They draw down like 9-10%, but this is perfect for everybody else to get in some of these plays. Like,
Right.
because when Tesla dropped this earnings,
It's,
I'm telling y'all gonna look, y'all gonna be like, I wish I would have got in this play. I
right.
wish I would have gotten this play. So I'm telling y'all, the macro is looking good, So, but if you want really no risk, buy them Jones for March. If you can stand a
Right.
little risk, buy them for February. Just be deep in the money. And that's the only thing I'm going to remind y'all. But we about to have fun this week. It's about to be a week of all weeks.
Yeah, it's lit.
And just a month of all months. February is going to be a good month. It always has been. It's a
Right.
historically great month. So I appreciate y'all. And we out of here. Tune in with us next time, all right?